Thank you very much for coming. We are Orange and Genesys, and we would like to speak a bit about how to boost patient and customer engagement. This is something that we've been doing a lot for ourselves on the retail perspective, for other customers, and lots of our knowledge and tools and services can benefit the pharma industry. There are many things that we can do, and Genesys, if you want to say a few words.
Yes, so Genesys is a global leader in the providing of customer experience platforms, and we are quite strong in the vertical of healthcare. So we have 460, more than 460 customers that we are providing, like insurance, Vanguard. We have providers like Irish Life. We have as well big biotech companies like Boehringer that we heard this morning as well there, or Pfizer. They belong to our customer, and all of them understand the importance of orchestration, experience and interactions in a way that the customer feels understood, empathic, because what we are looking for is about a trusted relationship, and that's where we want to help customers to define this journey for the healthcare pharma world.
And we are Orange, we are a telco company. You may know us on the B2C side, but we do a lot in B2B, meaning that we offer digital services to many of the healthcare ecosystem. By the way, we've got activities for pharma companies, so we work with the top 10 biggest pharma companies. We've got services as well that we provide to healthcare professionals through a subsidiary called Denovacom. So their objective is to provide the interoperability of electronic health record of medical IoT devices into the hospital. We've got CRO activities through a subsidiary called Business and Decision Life Science. So they run clinical trials. So we know a bit about this environment, and we invest a lot. So we've got some startup incubators that we created with an insurance company, generally Sanofi, a pharma company, to improve a bit the digitization of healthcare. So because we know a lot about mobile, about consumer, we bring a lot of technology as well to the table. We can enable those advanced ecosystem and those smart new ways of delivering care. So this is why we are together. So we did a webinar prior to the event where we discussed a bit why is it important to deliver specific content to targeted people, not trying to, let's say, do a wide segmentation to address people, but more to target individuals, because not everybody wants to be, let's say, engaged with in the same way, with the same channel, with the same kind of content. Every individual has its own expectation. So this is something that we did talk during this webinar, and if you want to catch up with it, you can go onto the Next Pharma Summit YouTube to listen to it. Today we will focus more on what can you do about it. So what exactly does it mean, patient engagement? So I wanted to put this on the slide. For us, when we say patient engagement, it means what do we genuinely want to do to show that you care, to show that we want to deliver outcome, an effective, let's say, relationship with patient, HCP, and all the, let's say, life science ecosystem, showing that you care. And many innovations were a bit stopped or, let's say, killed in the egg because people were saying, oh, regulation, you know, we can't do anything. But many people, including the FDA, were saying, if you really want to deliver outcome, we will sit down and discuss how can we adapt regulation to make it happen. Because if it's delivering, let's say, real outcome, there is an opportunity to move things. This ecosystem of patient engagement is very wide and very broad. We mentioned healthcare professional a lot, medtech companies and so on. Payers, they play a big role, because if they do not refund the cure, people will get away from this. Something that we don't see that much, or don't emphasize that much on, social structure and health and wellness coaches. They play a big role into the recovery, into the ability to live well a treatment or a disease. So they are very impactful, and it would be wise to target them a bit more. They are really part of the engagement. So something that we wanted to highlight, and this is what we do as a business. We are very good at it. Difference between multi-channel and omnichannel. So multi-channel means that you've got silos. This is the current state. I don't know if you feel that you are more omnichannel or multi-channel. But multi-channel means product-centric. We focus on delivering a silo and do it well. Omnichannel is more transversal and say, okay, let's focus on the customer, let's focus on the patient, and this is an individual. Regardless of the channel we use to target this person, this is the same person at the end of the chain. And this is where we can support and we provide value, is that we blend the channels together so that you talk to an individual and not to a segment. And this is something that is very important. So one quick question I wanted to ask, are you satisfied today with the experience you're delivering to your patient or customers? Do you feel like you are there, or there is a bit of room for improvement?
We would not be here.
Yeah? Okay. Omnichannel strategy, this is something that is delivering results. So basically, the one that have an omnichannel strategy and that deliver on it and increase a bit the revenue, manage to get way more results than the others. So if you keep your siloed approach, you will have a so-so feedback. There is 30% point difference when you get the strategy to better do it. So there is an incentive of doing it. And the thing is, the good news is you don't need to spend too much on it to get results. So we've seen a difference increase of the spend of marketing compared to the 2021 plan, for instance, for 2022. If you've got no change, you've got 47% achievement in terms of results of your objective. Okay, so not doing anything, you reach half of your objectives, or you increase half of your objectives. If you invest just between 1 and 5%, it's going to 69. And after, everything you do more will not deliver any more value. So the outcome of this is don't spend too much, but spend it wisely. This is very important. So creating an omnichannel strategy is delivering a lot of outcomes and revenue, and you don't need to spend too much on it. So these were the typical messages I wanted to highlight. Omnichannel is very, very, very important. So there are things to be done, and for instance, move from effectiveness and percentage point to something that is more empathy, delivering trust, engaging with people on the field a bit more, and giving them more capabilities to give feedback. So this is something that was said a lot. The feedback loop is the most important thing. So it's great to deliver from top to bottom, but it's good to get feedback from the field as well to understand what is happening. And to show that you care, you need to act on the feedback. You need to do a continuous improvement so that every time someone is saying something to you, you take it into account and you show the results by adapting the process. So it's not just about tools, it will be a lot about processes that you put in place and the feedback loop. So now, the thing is, the organizations that are adopting an holistic approach are really more successful than the others. So there are facts, there are figures about it, there is no denying, and the thing is, the retail, they are doing it already, and they are very good at it. And people are consumers as well, and they expect the same. Even a GP expect the same in the personal life than in the let's say medical life. So this is why it's very important to start working about it. So question, how far do you think you are in your roadmap to deliver a good customer engagement? Are you at the beginning, in the middle of the journey, or toward reaching some goals and maybe just trying to scale up?
Depends on which country, which business unit, which director.
Okay, so you are the middle of the journey, meaning that you started some initiatives, you've got some things going on in some markets which are successful, and now it's basically about to scale up a bit, to capitalize on what was done in some markets, to share it with others. So something that was shared is the ability to share information across markets, to reuse things, to capitalize on the good initiatives is something very, very important. All the knowledge management, the best practice sharing, and so on. This is something that is very, very key, but not always easy because every market has its own P&L, its own culture, and they believe that they are unique. And the thing is, every company is saying that, and it's not true at all. There are some similarities, there are some things that can be reused, and it's okay to accept that others have good ideas that you can reuse. So this is very interesting. And how many channels today are you using? And do you think that you've got enough channels? So you're using face-to-face, obviously, phone, maybe email, SMS, chat, live chats, instant messaging. Is it something that you are starting using, like WhatsApp, WeChat, Facebook Messenger, and so on? And there's some other stuff that can be nice to have or interesting, like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. It feels silly, but one of my customers, for instance, said to me, basically, we advertise a bit on TikTok because we know that the children of the influencer of the parents, for instance, auditive devices, so device for hearing aid, they say, we believe that the influencer will influence children to tell them to tell their parent to go to visit an audiologist, for instance. So there are some interesting way, and there are some niche social media as well. I don't know if it's something that you considered already, if you are using, but this is something that should be looked at because people are going there to socialize, to get feedback, and so on, and to get information as well. And this is something that we discovered in the previous webinar, is that most of the time they want digest, so healthcare professional, they want digest of information so that they can really get the knowledge very quickly and don't spend too much time trying to keep up to date, because it's very difficult to be up to date, to read boring documents that are way too big and too long. So having abstract, having information about how to process, for instance, some files, these are key stuff that are simplifying their life and making them a bit more, let's say, dedicated to their patient. When they've got a bit of time with them, they don't need to spend too much time on paperwork, and this is something that is important. So when we looked at all these channels, we said, okay, it's siloed. How do we orchestrate that? And this is where Melanie comes in to manage a bit the merging and the blending of all these silos so that you can speak with individuals rather than speaking to a channel.
So we from Genesys believe really that it's about experience. As we said, we in all our private lives are used to use Uber, Airbnb. It's about an experience economic that we are living for. And so they expect us as well in their healthcare area. And to be able to create this vision of experience as a service vision, we have application systems that helps you to orchestrate all your experience that you want to build with your customers. And this is consisting of 4 building blocks. It's a system of listening to understand, so where is this patient, this HCP coming from? Do I already know them? Which kind of information I already have? So have this HCP already been yesterday asking something about my solution? So how likely is that this HCP is calling again because of this information that I provided him yesterday? So it's about understanding where is he coming from, how is he feeling, what could be the topic that he is addressing on me. Try then to predict what is the best answer to give for him based on the information that I have. And we all know we have lots of data already available, but are not using this in a real time to interacting with the ecosystems of pharma world. And then we act to the channel that it's interesting for the HP. We know sometimes what kind of preference, so we can use this to interacting with this ecosystem. And as well Olivier already showed, it's about talking then of learning. So we're doing this again, and we are adding always new data points to it and new information that help us to understand where they're coming from. So, and why customer experience is so relevant. So we want to create a unique customer experience to all of the channels that we have, because we are talking about omnichannel, right? And why it's getting important. So we are adding AI to our conversations that we're having. So it's about a hybrid model between talking to a person, having information that is provided by AI. So I need to manage this one. And there are several studies saying that a customer is using 5.6 channels per interaction to interact with you. So it should be really consistent, the information that they receive to all the touch points that they have and all the channels that they are using. So it's very relevant that we understand this and understand the power that customers are leaving the brand if they don't have a good experience with you. And if you provide this good experience, we have numbers showing that they will spend longer with you, stay for a longer time with you. And so that's really an impact on investing in this customer experience. And there's one thing that we as well heard in the first session from David from Roche was saying, put you in your shoes of your customer, because how you want to be customer-centric if you don't know why they are contacting you and why they are going the route that they are going. So it's really about understanding where does the customer come from, what does he want to achieve with you, to then be able to influence this journey. Because if you don't know what he's doing, you don't can influence. And the nice thing is if you know what he wants to achieve with you, you will be able to adapt this as well to your business goal. So if your business goal is, do you want to connect them to be more active for newsletter, then you can use the information that you know from the journey where to implement. And I want to emphasize the logical of this topic, customer journey analytics. So think about, you want to have a park, right? A little bit too early. The park. So there are lots of steps that you need to get a park. So you need to think where you have flower beds, what kind of stones, what flowers, which turf you do want, when you plant the different things. And in the end, you will get this nice park that you prepared the journey, that's saying that a visitor is coming, he can lay around, he will sit there, there's a fontaine where he can take a refreshment. But what will you notice if you're looking after a while to it? They're going another way. But why are they going another way? And that's the important question that you need to ask, and not take assumption why they are doing this, right? So is it because your way that you plan was not correct? Did you not have the right requirement? So customer analytics is helping you to identify this blind spot. So it could be that the visitor wants a fontaine, but it was placed on the wrong area because in the beginning of his visit to the park, he is not thirsty enough to go drinking for it. So if you place it on a different way, the customer would go another way. So this is the principle of a customer journey analytics, and that's where we both together help to identify the route that customers, HCPs are going. So why is the HCP leaving your self-service? Is this a misunderstanding, or is the self-service placed on the wrong part? And with this information, you have so much power to continue working on your omnichannel strategy. So we have again a question for you. It's about, do you believe you have enough information, tools to understand customer journey? So do you already start to use some tools in this area?
So I guess you've got some data, but do you have the tools to analyze it today? Do you believe that you've got enough data to better understand why are they repeating call, why are they happy or not happy with a given process or sales rep? Do you have those data today available, and do you use it?
We do customer journey mapping. The biggest question that you always stay after the workshop, you do like a 2-day workshop or whatever, you gather medical field for, is that real? The biggest thing is like, we map it inside the organization, and then, supposed to go and validate it. But the beautiful customer journey, the biggest question that always left on the table is like, okay, is real the customer journey, or is something that we think that it is?
There's always some sort of selection bias in that, as you like working with customers in panels for a long time, probably you don't get like unfiltered opinions about it, and I think it gets worse. It gets worse the higher you get up the hierarchy. Nobody dares to give you bad feedback, like constructive feedback in the organization itself. So and also I think, I mean, if somebody would stand here and also in 10 years and say, yes, we have enough information. There's never enough information. This is not something you do one time and then that's it. But it's a continuous thing. So.
I think the key is the word information, because data, I think we all have plenty.
Yes.
But information and insights, that's the key. And what question do we ask? Because even if we have all the customers around the table, if we don't know what questions we want to solve, ultimately we want to sell more products, yes, but then we want to generate value. So I think that's...
And now that you say that, another question that I find always really hard to answer is, of course, we all know this Henry Ford citation, right? Like, of course you want to do what the customer needs in this very moment, but if you would have asked 10 years ago, nobody would have told you, hey, I want ChatGPT in a conversation or what's that. At some point you always need to be ahead of what the customer wants as well, and sometimes do what the customer maybe doesn't want at this very moment, but you need to predict that he's gonna or she's gonna want it in years. So I think that's also something really difficult, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think the analytics part of a journey is reusing the information that already is. So you don't need to set up a really true panel, and allows you to give you a view, really a visualized view of what's looking today. And if you do this, reprocess what you are being saying, and this is very elemental that you are always recheck this, because the expectations of customers are changing, right? And so it will always change, but through the visualization you have the points and can dig then with the customer, panel then additionally on it to identify if this is really what he tries to achieve. So it's a combination a little bit of this use of tool set and conversations with customer. And to be honest, and I think this have been already discussed very lot the 2 days, it's about you can have lots of tools. If you don't have the mindset and the processes and the people of it that take use of this information, it's nice that you don't know the blind spots, but if you don't do anything, it doesn't help really. It don't bring you the value, right? Yeah, and I brought a small example with me how customer analytics could help you to generate revenue, to be more efficient in the way. So we see that compliance management is a very important process, especially in the biotech company. We heard as well on yesterday morning that the competition is getting higher there and the resources are hard to get. So this process is a process that contains a lot of value for you. So on one hand, the value for the customer, that it really get seamless with channel he is to ask the same information, to use information that is there and not re-ask again a customer, so what product you have, etc., if you have a registration of it. And so if you use the analytics, you get really great insights to optimize on your product R&D. So to know, okay, I know that normally this customer after a while is getting stripes ordered, and now 10 weeks pass and you don't ask. So why not proactively providing him this information? Or I noticed that we get more complaints about the stripes that we delivered last week. So it seems that there have been a production issue perhaps. So that's about where as well customer analytics help you to understand where you can dig in and continue your work. But it's all really showing where you can start your work, right?
The good thing with digital channels is that you can manage and process everything. You don't need a sample or have the feedback of someone saying that he believed that. No, you've got all the information and everything can be processed. And for instance, you can do sentiment analysis, analyzing the reason for calls, what are the top 10 reasons, why are people frustrated, the repeat call, the overlap between discussions or these kind of things. Lots of feedback that can be useful for research and development, for marketing as well. And if you manage to collect as well the feedback from the people from the field, so the sales rep, the MSL and so on, you can have a really good view of what is happening. So this is what our solution are offering, is really collecting all those insights so that you process it in a way that you get information out of all the noise and data. So how does it look like?
Yeah, I think we went already over it, that it's really a loop that we are looking for to do the journey, understand where I need to optimize, and then really let customer execute it and again reuse it. And always with the principle of listen what they are saying, understand, reuse existing information, as well support the employees to have the right information at the right time, because for them the pressure is as well increasing due to lots of channels they have, the lots of information pools that are existing. So help as well the agents to get the right information, then to act through the channel that they want and learn. And that's really the process, getting you to optimize the journeys and the business.
And in the near future to automate as well. Because if you measure things, then you can get information that you can use to act on it. And as soon as you start automating things, everything is, let's say, scaling up. So I don't know if you've got any question and if it's clear. I know that you were promised the moon with CRM, and everyone invested a lot in that. So CRM is great to collect information in a kind of static way, but not great to manage the way you interact with people, with HEP or with patients. And the thing is, this is the omnichannel tools that you need in order to achieve that. So the CRM is providing you the data, information. You can consolidate with 360-degree view, with customer data platform, and so on. That is aggregating data, doing some segmentation, identifying some marketing opportunities, and so on. But then you've got the other brain, which is what is the best way to interact with this person, and using the channel to get the message across.
And that's how does it compare with the Salesforce journey mapping?
It's part of, so it's not competing with Salesforce, because Salesforce is a CRM and a case management tool as well. They are trying to be. They are not managing the communication channel. They only do email, so they do email to case and this kind of stuff, but they don't do voice, they don't do other stuff, social media and so on. These are the kind of stuff that are done by an omnichannel platform, such as Genesys, for instance.
And I think quite relevant on this conversation is we need both systems. We need the Salesforce that it's containing all the information about the customer and his ecosystems and his arcs of the past. And then we need the component that take it in real time, use this information and interact with it, and knowing to who should I put this interaction at this moment with which content, right? Because there's a lot of information in a Salesforce, but do you need this every time in every conversation and every interaction? No, sometimes it's only this small piece that you need, and we help to identify the right piece for the right interaction at the right time. So this is what the difference makes to combine both systems.
So today are the key platforms that you're using are Salesforce, Viva, I'm pretty sure, and others like that.
Viva and the line CRM, and then Salesforce Marketing Cloud that
Yes,
integrates all the journey mapping, the different channels.
Or Adobe as well is very big in marketing automation. So these platforms need to be connected all together to deliver value. And there is one missing bit, which is the omni-channel contact center that is getting the message across at the right time from the right individual to the customer. And this is really what is, let's say, creating this feeling of being targeted as a person, an individual, rather than an email channel. I receive an email, I receive a phone call, I receive the visit of a sales rep, and they are all saying the same message, or sometimes different. This is a worst case scenario. So you want things to be a bit channeled, and this is what omnichannel cloud-based platform are providing. And this is the thing, it's not static, because now all solutions are cloud services. So you connect this to Salesforce, to Viva via APIs, and you can use it. you don't have to have static stuff or develop stuff on your own, because it will free up from the complexity of managing it, and it will be evolutive. And this was one of the main comments I heard this morning about CRM being, let's say, difficult to maintain and to update. And for me, this is the worst case scenario, because if you build all your effort on collecting data, making sure that you get access to valuable information so that you give it to sales rep on the field so that they can be efficient on their job, and it's not evolutive, you're just wasting your time. This is one of the most frustrating things I can imagine. So yes, if you want to have further conversation with us, feel free to reach out to us. We leave our contact detail here, and we would be happy to further engage with you. And thank you very much for finding the room.
Thank you.
Just one question regarding your service. I understand that you provide mapping for the customer, basically how their experience kind of fluid. But do you also provide the learning of the insight that we were discussing about? Because we have to understand the why they're going the other way, right? So.
And
Of course, yes, this is part of my job, providing the, let's say, the consultancy around it and the support to analyze the data, to understand what are the potential business cases or outcomes of the findings. So basically, we look at the data, we identify some early findings, challenge it with the business, and then identify if it's worth it or not, to act on it and to do something about it. So yes, this is very much something we do, and this is why we team up, because we are complementary.
But do you actually do panel insight researches with the doctors who are using that to really understand the why? Or is it more like an assumption business case like discussion?
We don't do it with doctors. I do it for consumers, but not for doctors yet. So it's something that we can investigate indeed. But we do that with consumers and do some testing panels or do some market analysis as well to evaluate the impact. So these are the kind of stuff that we do, yes.
Because I think the gap that we have right now in pharma is that our team actually works directly with the consumer, so we do all those panels to really understand the insight. But when I talk to my counterparts for the ACP communication, they don't go deep regarding the insight, why the doctors are not reading the email, why they're not doing this and that, right? So if you are able to provide that on top of the service that you're providing for the HCP, I think that would be really great.
Okay.
Yes, would be definitely a thing to investigate.
Thank you for the question. Thank you as well for the time. Have a good continued conversation here.